We are the restaurant Roundup. Castro will be back in 1 second. Eric, it's only fitting that day 2 of using my growler as a water bottle that I have somebody from the bar business. How are you?
Doing well, my friend. Doing well. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So tell the audience a little about who you are, where you're located, and what you do.
So I own a few bars. I own one in New York called Boilermaker, 2 in San Diego called one's Raised by Wolves and one's Polite Provisions. Craft cocktails, focus on drinks, spirits, bartender education, experience, all that stuff.
Now, where are you located, New York or San Diego yourself?
I'm in San Diego these days. And I also host an award-winning podcast called Bartender at Large.
Yep. And I will be in San Diego in 4 weeks. So
it's a great town, my friend.
I need to come shake your hand in person.
Yes, you will need to stop by for sure.
So you've got the podcast, you've got a lot of things in the business. What is your expertise? What is your love or your depth of knowledge for the bar business?
Running bars, man. High volume cocktail bars that generate revenue, craft cocktails.
Cool. Well, let's dig into my question. So the Carlos story. This happened to me last week. I'm in Miami.
Yes, sir.
I fly down to Miami. I go there for a business meeting. I was there in December. So early December, 9 months ago. Mm-hmm. I walk into the restaurant, the hotel, put my stuff in the room, go back down, get ready to go into the a little event. I want to get some food first. Carlos at the bar goes, "Hey, welcome back. Did your wife not join you this trip?" Mm-hmm. Specifically knew exactly who I was. Remember what she drank. Remember what I drank.
Whoa.
This is 9 months ago. Like, how many people are coming into this hotel in Miami? I think that is something I've always seen and fascinated with about bartenders. It's very specific. I don't think there's as many servers with that depth, but there's a lot of bartenders that just get to know the people they serve.
Yeah, man, that's very, very difficult to train. Some of that, to a certain extent, is just born. It's innate, but that doesn't mean that you can't learn it, you can't hone it, you can't train it.
Yeah.
Though someone like this gentleman, Carlos, 9 months, that's pretty impressive. I mean, that might be outside the standard expectations of, standard practices, but that's nevertheless very impressive.
And I tell you what, it made an impression on me because I had some buffalo wings and a water with some lemons. I like water. I like the bartenders muddle some lemons, ice and water. I just like the taste of it.
And are you a blue cheese or a ranch guy?
I am a blue cheese guy.
Okay. Yeah. Standard. Yep.
And so
I generally do both.
Okay.
But I do prefer if it came down to it, I'm a blue cheese guy.
If it's homemade blue cheese, legit.
Yeah.
I like ranch with my chicken tenders though.
Mm-hmm. I do like me some Ken's though.
Oh yeah.
Some Ken's Steakhouse. Ooh, that sounds fire, man.
Yep. So yeah, that made an impression on me. And I tipped him $50. I knew I was there for 4 days. I'm like, you know what? Yeah. I appreciate the skill. Yeah. I gave him a tip for $50 and I tipped him 2 or 3 more times the next 3 days. The one night he was actually gone and he's like, "Matt, no worries. I'm not there tonight. I clued the bartender in to who you were, what you wanted." And sure enough, I show up at 9 o'clock with 5 people to have a business meeting. And this guy, you'd have thought he was my son.
That's his class, man. It's very, very difficult to train that.
Yeah.
That's just caring. That's just hospitality. That's just, I've always felt as though hospitality is just an extension of gratitude. And that's a basic example of somebody who's just happy to see your face at the bar. Yeah,
I agree. And so it piggybacks to the next topic. We've got a lot of clients that have restaurants and bars. And restaurants a lot of times come up with promotions. We're going to do like this specific. We're going to do a Walking Dead party. It's like 4 years ago. We're doing a Walking Dead party. And we're going to have Walking Dead playing here. We're going to do it every Sunday night. It was a big deal. And 2 stores did it. Same brand, 30 minutes apart. 2 stores did it. The one store, crickets. Like 2-3 people showed up. Like some homeless guy. It looked like The Walking Dead. Mm-hmm. The other location, 80 people, standing room only. The difference was the bartender. Because that bartender knows the regulars. She loved Walking Dead. She owned the promotion.
There has to be a buy-in as well.
Yeah.
If you're just not into, survivor horror, the genre, if you're not into The Walking Dead, it doesn't matter what kind of drink specials you have. It's not going to take off. You need to have buy-in from the staff, which is why when it comes to a promotion like that, in a way, it has to be organic. It has to be propelled and perpetuated by the staff in something that they're actually passionate about.
Yeah.
You know, if you do a tiki night, but none of the bartenders there could give a rat's about tiki, it's never going to be successful because, it's like the momentum is never going to build. It's just not, they're not going to have a contagious attitude or passion for it.
And what I love also is that when they do have that passion, when it is something they like, the bartenders are ones that have those regulars. They have the power to say, hey, you're already here 3 days a week. Come back a fourth. Here's what we're doing. Here's why I like it. And when you're telling somebody a story, the passion comes through instead of going, hey, this Sunday we're doing something. It's called Walking Dead Night. Here you go.
Yeah. Though I could see why it wouldn't be as popular for season 5 as it was for season 1.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, bro. That was a bit of a fall off there.
I think it went to like season 4. I think it's still on. I don't know.
I know.
Yeah, I think sometimes Netflix, they don't know when to pull the cord.
No. I love the first few seasons, and then it's just
it's a little crazy. So this happened to me the other day, and then actually this morning at a Panera. Mm-hmm. The person behind the counter or the bar focused on their cell phone. It's a tough topic because I'm guessing people don't want to tell their employees you can't have your cell phone with you because you got emergencies, you got kids. Like I'm watching this lady at Panera and I'm trying to talk to her about something. She's got her back to me. She's on her phone for like 3 minutes. I was like, excuse me. Hello.
Yeah.
I turn around. But you see it at bars. You see a lot of times I see reviews from clients of ours that have bars. And it's like, hey, I went to get a drink. I was there. The bartender was too occupied with her cell phone at the other end than she was actually waiting on people.
Yeah. My rule on this is actually a little more lenient than most, but it's actually kind of cheeky in some ways. Like I always tell my bartenders, like, oh, if you need to shoot a text, check a text, go for it. Just you can't do it on the floor. And then they just decide not to do it. I'm like, oh, if you want to run to the back and like make sure that you're, some emergency or somebody's okay, I'm not going to give you any crap for it as long as, obviously it doesn't become problematic. But at that point, bartenders just feel like, I don't want to actually, I'm just checking because I'm kind of bored. I don't really want to run actually behind. It's not important enough for me to walk 40 feet. So my perspective, if it's not important enough to walk 40 feet and back, then it's just not important enough to check. Yeah. I don't necessarily tell them that they can't have their phones at all because I do think it's helpful sometimes with the guest. Like sometimes a bartender will come in and be like, "Oh, hey, can I get a paper hydroplane?" And like, "Oh, what's that? Oh, that's a riff on a cocktail." And then I don't mind if the bartender's like, "Okay, I'm gonna look up that recipe."
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I can make that phone. And then they set their phone down and then put it away. I don't tolerate anyone just pulling out their phone being like, "No, I don't like that at all. I think it's unprofessional." What other profession would that be acceptable in? I mean, if you were at the bank and you were asking the teller, like, hey, I just want to, do a withdrawal. I need to pull out a few $100, and they were like, oh yeah, hold up.
Yeah.
Or if your barber just stopped mid haircut and started checking their phone, you would be like, yo, what the hell are you doing, man? So I think as bartenders, as we veer towards being seen more and more as a profession, the double-edged sword on that is if we want to be seen as a profession, we need to treat it as a profession and behave more professionally behind the bar.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. So talk about your podcast and what you've got going on professionally.
Yeah, so the Bartenders Podcast is basically a show for bartenders by bartenders. It's very cocktail-centric, very bartender-centric. We don't necessarily limit it to just talking about spirits and cocktails per se, but it's basically generally in that realm. We don't feel confined to it though. Sometimes we'll talk about, how to become a better presenter for your staff trainings, and then by extension, leading seminars. Okay. Sometimes we'll talk about, the history of the LGBTQ plus community within the bar industry and how it goes back to, Stonewall riots. And then the next episode will be on mash bills in regards to bourbon. So we're not necessarily combined just to one region within the genre of bars, but it's very, very bar centric. And we've had a lot of success due to that.
So tying into that with trainings, is there, I'm not a bar expert by any means. I see a lot, but I kind of go back to some of the bars that I see that have higher volume, that have higher engagement with their patrons. Reminds me of the Mexican place that brings out the sizzling fajita. That the minute that thing comes out, 30 people order a fajita.
Yeah.
I love seeing bartenders that have that craft hone behind there to make a scene, to make your abnormal cocktails. Is that something that you guys focus on within there as well?
That is something that is important. Like the cocktail, the presentation is important. The cocktail has to appeal to all the senses, and the sense of sight is the first sense that you're going to use to take a cocktail in. So if it's not pleasing to the eye, it's very difficult to proceed to the next step and to get a guest to order it. So while, not every single cocktail can have that level of panache, it is important to make sure that you're stressing the details of the cocktail and how it looks in its presentation. For instance, if there's a cocktail that's, some tropical drink with smoked cinnamon and you drop nutmeg on it and just flames go everywhere, that cocktail, you need to know when that cocktail goes out, like you said, there's going to be 10 more that are ordered right on the spot because they all want that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if that cocktail doesn't taste good, then it doesn't matter.
Yep.
So we try to put as much effort into pleasing all the senses, aroma, sight, taste, even in regards to touch, when it comes to the temperature of the drink and the form factor that's coming out, and whether it's up or on crushed ice or on a big rock, all that goes into the overall presentation. So the presentation is a large part, but it's just, one part of the drink, albeit a very important one.
Oh yeah. So and wrapping up, what's the best way people can reach you? Is it bartenderatlarge.com?
Yeah, they can find out more about the show at bartenderatlarge.com, or I always recommend just on Instagram at bartenderatlarge or me at hungry bartender. Super easy to get a hold of and to check out, learn more about what we have to offer. Cool.
Well, how can we support you from a bar? Give us the names of the bars again real quick.
Oh, shoot. Polite Provisions in San Diego.
Yep.
Raised by Wolves, located in San Diego as well. And Boilermaker in New York City.
Okay. Awesome. Any books coming out on the horizon for you?
Oh, shoot. You never know what can happen, but
nothing right now.
Nothing you can pre-order just yet.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for your time. Appreciate the conversation. I will look you up, and I think I'm there like September 12th through 16th.
Yeah, swing on through. We'd love to have you at the bars. And also, my friend, thank you so much for having me on. It was a pleasure.
You're welcome. See you, Eric.
Cheers.